What Angelina Jolie, the famous celebrity, learned about Venezuelans. Today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
Today we are going to discuss a very interesting true story that happened a few years ago regarding Angelina Jolie, the famous Hollywood actress that she was married with Brad Pitt and married or engaged, something like that. And I'm not an expert on celebrity gossip, anything like that, but you're going to learn a lot about this video regarding Venezuelans. And I'm making this particular piece of content today because this is going to contrast a lot with this particular racist and xenophobic narrative that I'm seeing right now against my fellow Venezuelans. Of course, there are a handful of bad Venezuelans committing crimes and doing bad things, but at the same time, I mean, it's just a handful of people compared to millions of Venezuelan migrants worldwide, and also a lot of bad things that they suffer that you don't see that on Fox News, on your local news agencies, anything like that. But we're not going to get into that, the racist and xenophobic, because this is easy, defeatable. The smart people are going to figure out for themselves very quickly what is true and what is not. And the dumb people, usually the racist and xenophobic people, are usually low IQ people. It is what it is. So I don't care about their thoughts. But you're a smart guy since you're watching this channel, and you're not going to have this particular issue. And going back again with the story of Angelina Jolie, this is something that she learned. You know, boots on the ground. She really, literally did the boots on the ground approach. And that's something that we are going to discuss today. So let's start. First, let's discuss Angelina Jolie. That you know that Angelina Jolie, she's kind of she has, yet again, I'm not very good with celebrity gossip, but I know that Angelina, she's kind of the reputation of a little bit cuckoo, something like that. And actually, she's the daughter of another Hollywood actor, John Boy, I believe. She was married with Billy Bob Thornton, another cuckoo guy. I like Billy Bob, by the way. And also, she won an Oscar because she played perfectly a psychiatric patient, something like that. So Angelina Jolie has that particular reputation of being a little bit cuckoo. Of course, you know that people in Hollywood like that, are a little bit, let's say eccentric. Say this. Okay, nothing against Hollywood celebrities. I'm not gonna bash Angelina. And we already know that also Angelina, she married or she got engaged, something like that, with Brad Pitt for many, many years. And they adopted together a bunch of kids from less developed countries, poorer countries, in order to give them a better life, a better opportunity in life. So I think that's a noble thing that they did. But the thing about Angelina, this is something, yet again, not a celebrity expert or anything like that. This is not, my typical narrative here. But anyways, from what I have understood about Angelina Jolie is that she did a movie on the early 2000s called Beyond Borders, and she has to go to Africa, and and on that particular movie, she has to do some humanitarian work on Africa, something like that. And I never watched the movie, by the way. But apparently, the reports is that Angelina changed a lot regarding their particular view in life, because she always lived in Hollywood and United States, so a very comfortable life, a very privileged life. And actually, Angelina herself says that. And when she had to do the research for the movie and that kind of thing, I never watched the movie. I don't know if it's good or not. You tell me if you watch it. After the movie, she changed a lot her own perception of life, on the world. So she became more humanitarian, started helping a lot of causes in poor countries worldwide. I already mentioned that she started adopting children from poor countries. So, and she became a spokesperson for different causes all over the world. And I think that that's a good thing. She has done a lot of noble things. And actually, she became a spokesperson, an ambassador, something like that, a celebrity ambassador for the UN, the refugees, that particular agency from the United Nations regarding refugees and asylum seekers and that kind of thing. So a noble thing, a noble, humanitarian work that Angelina Jolie is doing for humanity, and I think it's a good thing. So on 2018, of course, that happened. Of course, 2018 was right after 2017. That's when we have the debacle, the collapse, the 80% GDP collapse on the Venezuelan economy. And back then, the scarcity issues, the lack of supplies, the lack of medical attention, and lack of medicines, and the political instability. And that's when we had the biggest part of the Venezuelan diaspora going to the rest of the world. And of course, that's when Venezuela started getting, the buzzwords all over the world that Venezuela is a poor country and that kind of thing. But on those years were actually true, by the way. So the issue is that the people worldwide, especially in the West, they stuck with that particular situation. But that's for another day. Anyways, Angelina she receives the call that everything bad things going on, all with regarding Venezuela. And also the big diaspora that we had, of course, back then was huge. Millions and millions of Venezuelans leaving the country, going to third countries, looking for better opportunities. And something very interesting happened. Angelina, that was, I believe, late 2018, that Angelina, she works something, she's the ambassador for the United Nations. She went, just to see how she can help people over there. So very cool for help. And she went to a particular refugee camp in Peru, in the border of Peru, something like that. a very remote location in Peru. And the United Nations have a particular refugee camp over there. And Angelina just went, boots on the ground in order to see what's going on. You also have to remember that most of the migration during 2018 was for very poor, desperate people here in the country. People they cannot afford to pay a international trip and nice logistics and that kind of thing in order to leave the country. So they walk or took some buses within Latin America, in Colombia, in Peru, in Ecuador, in Chile, places like that. So it was the less sophisticated migration of Venezuelans, if you allow me to use that particular term. By the way, so what happens is one day, Angelina arrives to one of these refugee camps of Venezuelans walking from Venezuela to another country. That one of the biggest destinations was Peru, actually. So what happened, in this particular refugee camp, there were around 400 Venezuelans, something of that nature, and most of them were impoverished Venezuelans. Actually, they were lower middle class and lower classes of Venezuelans, in order to put it on perspective. Very good. One of the gentlemen on this particular camp, actually, he spoke a very decent English. And what Angelina did in order to find herself, boots on the ground, is that she took a sit down the entire day from very early in the morning to the late night. He had this particular guy translating each story from these 400 Venezuelans, one by one. And actually, we had a meme here in Venezuela. It was a very funny thing. They used, far-fetched Venezuelan culture things, putting Angelina Jolie speaking with this particular gentleman and the other people. It was a funny thing. Venezuelans, we have a thing that we laugh about by bad situations, and I do it myself. So if you know me, if you are watching this platform for a long time. Anyways, now here's the thing, the Angelina Jolie, the statement that she gave right after listening to each one of these 400 Venezuelans. She said, and I quote, "These people are not looking for handouts. They are not looking for a bargain. They are only looking for opportunities."
None of the Venezuelans I met want charity. They want an opportunity to help themselves.
And after I listened, I read this particular statement from Angelina Jolie, I'm 100% agreeing with that. Because most Venezuelans, not all, but most Venezuelans, and these 400 Venezuelans, apparently the whole 400, they were on that particular boat. They are looking for opportunities. The Venezuelans are aspirational, regardless if they are rich or poor, and they always want a better standard of living. And the reason why, in this particular case, these 400 people migrated from Venezuela is because they are looking to increase their standard of living throughout hard work, taking risks. Of course, they need synergy, and back then they did not find synergy within the Venezuelan, because Venezuela did not have the conditions. Back then, and Peru looked like Dubai, apparently, for Venezuelans in 2017, 2018. And I love that particular phrase from Angelina, that I agree 100%. Venezuelans, most, not all, but most of them are looking is for opportunities. And they're looking at any place that they can get such opportunity. And this particular message that I already knew it before Angelina said, but now Angelina says as well, and she's a little bit more famous than myself, to say the least. Now she has the power, and she did it. She did a heck of a job, by the way. So shout out to Angelina. I'm Team Angelina right now. And what I love is that she nailed it very quickly, just in one day, talking with Venezuelans, not talking with Western media and Western narrative, not watching Fox News, by the way, and not watching CNN or something like that. She learned very quickly. So that's the lesson for today. Venezuelans, most of them, not all of them, are looking for opportunities on your home country. They are not bad people stealing because they are bad people, something like that. So please, when you see a Venezuelan abroad, please take it with a grain of salt. So cut him some slack. And I'm going to say right away, just don't be an asshole.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.